Dear friends and viewers, Namaskar. Welcome back to KNS Biochemistry channel. In this session, I am going to talk about one of the area of nanoparticles flow, that is convection and diffusion. When the nanoparticles are flowing through blood capillaries, based on the size of the nanoparticles, if the particles are having various sizes, that is different sizes, bigger molecule try to move at the center of the flow, and smaller suspended particles will go to the sides of the walls. So because of that, convection and sometimes diffusion happens. That is what we are going to see in this session. We have convection and diffusion. So let us start the session now. Convection and diffusion. Blood flow inside the body drives the convection flow of suspended particles. Whatever particles which is suspended in the blood, you see that that will be taken to the target. That is happening because of the blood flow. The blood flow is giving all the driving forces for the flow of the suspended particles in the blood. Diffusional transport occurs in static conditions or conditions of low fluid velocity. So if you are having a transport of any molecule by diffusion process, the simple diffusion process which occurs in static conditions or conditions of low fluid velocity. Suppose in a tube of flowing liquid, inside a tube some liquid or water is flowing. So convective dynamics propel the particles in the direction of flow. That is, you see that the dynamics of this tube, you see that is going to propel. It is going to pull the particles in the direction of flow of the liquid. But at the walls of the tube, that is the side walls of the tube, there is the possibility of particle diffusion resulting in deposition. So the sides of the, that is side walls of the tube, some of the particles they will try to diffuse, and because of that they will stick on to the side walls and they will settle down or deposit there. So blood velocity, that is the rate or speed at which blood flow happens, that is called blood velocity in millimeter per second in arterioles and veins or venules is a function of vessel diameter. So you see that the diameter of the blood vessels, that is going to decide the blood velocity. So in veins or in venules, the maximum velocity, according to a group of people, they have identified that it is approximately 12 millimeter per second. That is the maximum velocity of the blood in veins. Whereas in arterioles, the velocity is double the speed. Here in venules it is 12 millimeter per second. In arterioles it is around 30 millimeter per second. So the fluid velocity in tubes is not constant, because in veins it is different. In arterioles it is different. Both are tubes only, blood vessels only. So it is not constant throughout the diameter of the tube, and it indicates a feature that it is important when the interaction of nanoparticles with the epithelial cells of the tube or the capillary blood vessel walls is very, very important here, because that hindrance is going to decide this velocity. Because you see that the sides of the walls of the capillaries, see that they will stop or deposit the particles. Because of that, the velocity of the fluid differs from vessel to vessel or tube to tube. Here you can see that in this figure, maximum blood velocity, that is given in millimeter per second. So here you can see that Vmax, maximum velocity in y-axis, that is unit is millimeter per second, and x-axis we have taken 2550, that is a vessel diameter, the diameter of the blood vessel or any tube or the diameter of the tube or the blood vessel in millimicron or micrometer. This is the negative side of the diameter. Here you see that you have venules and arterioles. Venules and arterioles, you see that for every diameter of the blood vessel, you see that the blood flow velocity, that Vmax, is calculated and it is plotted. For venules it is coming positive side, for arterioles it is coming the negative side of the graph. So the maximum blood velocity in arterioles and venules as a function of vessel diameter redrawn from this graph. And here you can see this is the next diagram. This diagram is showing the velocity pattern inside a tube or inside a blood vessel where the liquid flow happens. So liquid is flowing through this tube or the blood vessel. So what is happening inside that? The velocity pattern, the speed at which the fluid or the blood is traveling through the tube or the blood vessel. So the direction of flow here, these are all the suspended particles in the fluid, and the particles of different size are suspended here in this fluid. So these particles of different size separate according to their diameter. The large particles, you see that these are all large particles, being unable to approach close to the capillary walls, they will experience the faster fluid streamlines towards the center. So these bigger molecules, they cannot go to the sides of the walls, so they will come to the center of the wall or center of the fluid flow, and they will be having faster movement towards the center. Hence they move more rapidly, that is their velocity or the speed will be high. This is the basis of the field flow fractionation. So you see that other particles, they are having smaller size, their flow rate will be very less comparing to large particles. So they will try to move towards the side walls of the tubes or the blood vessels, and sometimes they will settle down. So the flow rate of these small molecules the flow rate of these small molecules, you see that may be affected because of their size, and they will start moving towards the side walls of the blood vessels, and they will settle down. So their velocity rate decreases when you compare with larger molecules. So because of that only, the blood flow rate or the fluid velocity in different tubes, they are having different diameter. It varies from tube to tube or blood vessel to blood vessel. So the radial variation of shear force is a factor that must be considered in polydisperse nanoparticle systems, and where nanoparticles adhere to erythrocytes, causing two distinct size distributions. If nanoparticles adhere to erythrocytes, the erythrocytes are RBC, red blood corpuscles present in the blood. Some of the nanoparticles may join or adhere to the erythrocytes. So if nanoparticles adhere to erythrocytes or other blood elements, the translocation of the particles, these nanoparticles, is controlled by the particular element to which it adheres. The rheology of suspensions of mixed particles is complex. Viscosity reduces first with an increase in the fraction of large particles in a suspension, and as the volume fraction increases, so the viscosity also increases. So one group of scientists, they formulated a theoretical model examining particle, that is nanoparticles migration in nanoparticle suspensions flowing through a pipe or a tube. That is, they want to prove it experimentally. So they took a pipe or a tube and you see that they started examining what is happening there practically. So they set up a experimental model. So the model considers particle migration due to spatial gradients in viscosity and the shear rate, the shear force rate, as well as the Brownian motion or Brownian movement. Particle migration due to this viscosity, shear force or shear rate or Brownian movement, so because of these effects can result in significant non-uniformity in particle concentration over the cross section of the pipe. So they are not having uniform movement. So in particular for large particles, that is those nanoparticles are having large size. So three mechanisms were proposed by this group of people for the migration in such non-uniform shear flow. Three mechanisms. First mechanism, the shear force induced migration, where these nanoparticles move from regions of higher shear rate to regions of lower shear rate. So higher to lower movement. Second mechanism, the viscosity gradient induced migration of the nanoparticles. So here the nanoparticles move from regions of higher viscosity to regions of lower viscosity. So viscosity is considered here, the second mechanism. Third mechanism, self-diffusion. That is, they themselves diffuse. That is called self-diffusion. So self-diffusion due to their spontaneous movement. That is called Brownian motion or Brownian movement. So the diffusion inside microtubules has been studied to understand Taxol, T-A-X-O-L, Taxol, that is a drug, Taxol binding to tubulin structures. That tubulin is nothing but the protein portion of the microtubules. The dimension of the tubulin lumen is of the order of 17 nanometer, approaching macromolecular dimensions, leading to friction between the inner walls and the moving macromolecules. So this friction force, that hindrance, will also be an issue in the movement of these nanoparticles in the smallest capillary tubes. With dendrimers whose diameters may be as small as 6 nanometer in size, the application of hindered theory to their movement could be very relevant here. So no vessels are of this small radius, that is only blood capillaries are having that much small radius, but the key parameter is the ratio of particle diameter to capillary diameter, that is diameter of the particle and the diameter of the blood capillary. Both are very important key factors. The approach may well be important in cellular networks. It is not only capillary vessels that are the conducts of particle movement, but after extravasation, there is passage through cellular networks. So this process could be considered to be akin to diffusion in porous networks. Binding of the moving particles, that is bigger particles or macromolecules, to the luminal surface of the vessel will also hinder free flow or movement. It is a positive event in the case of specific ligand targeting of decorated systems, that is a model system like this. So these polydispersed nanosystems can segregate during the nanoparticle flow or migrate differentially, leading to concentration differences. So a particle image velocimetry, PIV, that is using this PIV you can measure the velocity. Particle image velocimetry, PIV has been used to track the flow characteristics of microparticles. The effects of flow on adhesion of monocytes to endothelial cells is relevant to the influence of flow and shear forces in particle interactions and uptake. The significance of flow can be demonstrated by the use of pharmacological agents which change normal vessel patency, so that by the concomitant use of noradrenaline, that is a hormone, or angiotensin, which constrict only normal blood vessels. That is noradrenaline or angiotensin, they are going to contract or constrict the blood vessels. So the ratio of tumor to normal tissue blood flow can be optimized. So you see that using this diameter of the blood vessels, we can find out what is the flow of these components inside the tumor blood vessels or inside the normal tissue blood vessels. So that can also be studied. Friends, in this session we have seen about that is the flow of nanoparticles inside the blood vessels. At that time they will have different behaviors like convection and diffusion. So we have seen in detail about convection and diffusion. With that I am going to end this session. I will be coming back to you in the next session. Until then, it's bye from KNS Biochemistry. Be happy, be home, be safety. Thank you all. Namaskar.